Breathe with me, deep divers. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Raising the frequency. Raising the vibration. Peace. Infinite waters. Diving deep once again. Magnificent deep divers, we are here. We are out here with the Sumerians, with Anunnaki, diving deep. Oh, we're gonna talk about everything today, deep divers. First and foremost, I hope you are taking care of yourself. I hope you are focusing on yourself. I hope you are realizing life is still beautiful, regardless of what they show you on the news, okay? Now, let's talk about it, deep divers. The Anunnaki Gods, the astronaut gods of the Sumerians, the rulers of Earth? Question mark. Have you heard of the Anunnaki by any chance, deep divers? Now, I want to talk about this. We're going to go through four themes, right? So these 4 questions. Who are the Anunnaki? Number 2, how have they interfered with humanity? Number 3, are they still in control of humanity today? And number 4, how can the Anunnaki story actually help us become our greatest versions? Deep divers, are you ready? Just say, I'm ready, Ralph, to dive deep. You ready? Okay. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Hey. So wonderful, deep divers. Let me talk to you today about the Anunnaki gods, the astronaut gods of the Sumerians, the rulers of Earth? Question mark. Did they turn humanity into a slave species? Question mark. We're gonna talk about everything, deep divers. Hold your horses. We got a whole lot to talk about. Now, I've researched the Anunnaki story for many, many years in depth. So who are the Anunnaki? They are the deity pantheon of the ancient Sumerians. Now, Mesopotamia is modern day Iraq, and that's where the Sumerians were located. And they have one of the oldest civilizations, phenomenal history there in that region, phenomenal history. And the Anunnaki, the actual word Anunnaki, An is the god of gods, the father of all the gods. So An is referring to the god of gods. Unaka. Una means offspring. Ki is the goddess of earth, the goddess of Mother Nature. So Anunnaki, the father god, An, Una, offspring, Ki, mother goddess, Mother Nature. And they had other gods in the ancient Sumerian texts, such as Enlil, the god of air. They had Enki, or Prince Ea, the god of knowledge, wisdom, water, right? So it's a very old story, the Anunnaki. And is this just a mythology, or is there any actual evidence that these deities actually existed? Everywhere. When you realize that in 1929, deep divers, you had a German archaeologist by the name of Julius Jordan. What a name, right? Julius Jordan. who actually discovered in Uruk, southern Mesopotamia, vast clay tablets over 5,000 years old. And the script was called cuneiform. And I've actually seen these tablets in real life. Okay, and when you see these tablets, deep divers, you're just amazed. Like, oh my gosh, these tablets are like so huge. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, these tablets are huge, right? But in these tablets, you have the actual history of the Sumerians, the Epic of Gilgamesh, but you also have the Anunnaki story. And it goes a little something like this. Long ago, let me do the voice. Long ago, the movie voice, deep divers. Long ago, a group of extraterrestrial beings visited Earth, and they saw humanity in it. They saw humanity in its infancy. Humans weren't like us today. They were actually still developing. They were in that state of Homo erectus, Homo habilis, right? And the Anunnaki gods, the ancient aliens, astronauts, came down and they actually taught those early humans civilization, how to read, how to write, about agriculture. And humanity was ignorant. And these gods, they were so powerful. And the humans at that time really praised them and worshiped them. And later on, they actually became mythologized as gods. And the story of the Anunnaki tells us about how they left their planet Nibiru, or Planet X, to actually visit Earth. You know, just like you do deep divers, jump in a spaceship and visit planet Earth, right? And they were in search of something. They were in search of gold, because legend has it, in their planet Nibiru, they didn't have the gold they needed, and Earth had so much gold. So they came to Earth with a mission to actually mine the gold, but they didn't want to do it. They wanted to create a slave species. And this is how they actually interfered with the early human beings who were here. They actually changed their DNA. Michael Tellinger has a great book called Slave Species of the Gods, right? And they actually tampered with the human DNA and actually turned those humans into a slave species of workers so they can mine for the gold that they could take back to their planet Nibiru. And it's fascinating because the human beings did just that. And even if we look around today, we still see that so many of us are still slaves, right? But when you realize the Anunnaki were not human, and this is why they could manipulate human beings to do whatever they wanted them to do. And you see that in the ancient Sumerian texts, the tablets, they talk of how the Anunnaki were seen as immortal. And this is why they knew things human beings didn't know about. And they could control millions of people at a time, billions of people, right? And also, what I find fascinating, deep divers, is that just like in ancient Egypt, in Sumeria, Iraq, the Anunnaki are depicted as having animal features at the top, but also human features at the bottom. Half man, half God, right? And it's weird because there's this talk of ETs coming to Earth in every single culture around the world. There is talk of ancient aliens. Even in the Bible, you have talk of the Nephilim, giants who walked the earth, who bred with the daughters of God, right? So there is talk of aliens coming down from the heavens to planet Earth in every single ancient text on this planet, and especially the ancient Sumerians. These ancient aliens were called Anunnaki in the Sumerian texts. And if you go to ancient India, right? In India, you have the Naga. The Naga, in the Sanskrit, the word Naga means serpent. And why I'm showing this is because in every culture, in every ancient culture, you find godlike beings who seem to be superior to other human beings, who had so much power over every aspect of humanity's lives, right? Of human beings' lives. And they were actually worshipped as gods, right? So even in Egypt, Ramses II, once again, the Uraeus, you have the serpent on his head, right? So this talk of gods coming down can be found in ancient Egypt, in the Indus Valley, ancient India, also the Sumerian texts. And there's a common theme that human beings, there are things that you know. There are things that you know. There are things that you don't know. And there are things you don't know. Slow motion this side. And what you don't know is all about that everything you've been told about the world is a big lie. And the more you dive deeper, the more you realize that there have been hidden rulers of this planet for a long time manipulating human consciousness. In fact, the Gnostics talked about, the early Christians talked about the archons, this inorganic force who was so powerful that they could manipulate human beings, right? And there was actually a film called They Live, right? Put on the glasses, deep divers, and you see that there are subliminal messages on billboard posters. I remember watching that film, fantastic film. So it has things like obey, conform, buy, consume. And a lot of us don't realize that even though the Anunnaki is an old mythology, which has actual evidence, okay? From 1929, Julius Jordan finding the vast clay tablets over 5,000 years old. But many people think this is just a story. But when you realize that manipulation is still happening today on a very subtle level through the media, through just like They Live, we're not realizing that we are still being manipulated. And this is why that question has to be raised. Was humanity created as a slave species? Has the DNA of humanity been tampered with from ancient aliens? And are they still in control today? What if the same people who wrote all of these texts and scriptures. Like I told you about the apocalypse, right? About the chip. Revelation 13:16-17, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell unless he has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. They were talking about the QR code. And that's exactly what's happening right now with COVID. Oh my gosh. So what if all of these people who wrote down these scriptures and these ancient texts were actually the architects of civilization to begin with? And they have been controlling and manipulating humanity for thousands of years. And this is the reason why the Anunnaki story is so important, because it's still happening till this day. Till this day. And as I see it, how can this help us become our greatest version? The great Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. All there is energy. Everything is mental. The reason why the Anunnaki could control humanity was because human beings were not in their crown chakra. Their third eye was not open. And the more you begin to open your third eye, which is actually your first eye right here, the more you begin to realize that there is so much more to what meets the eye. So much more to what meets the eye. We are only seeing less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. 0.035%, which is visible light. We are practically blind in the universe. And how we empower ourselves to become our greatest version is to say, actually, I have to know thyself. I have to connect within. There's a reason why every single day, deep divers in this matrix, you are distracted. TikTok, Instagram, all of these distractions. The news, fear, Russia and Ukraine. It's to lower your frequency. There's a reason why they always want you in a state of fear. It's to lower your frequency. There's a reason why they always want you in a state of grief. It's to lower your frequency. They don't want you to connect back to who you really are, because once you do, you realize that you are powerful beyond measure. And this is what we all have to do. Realize the only way out of this matrix is in. Because you better believe there are forces that do not want to see you ascend to Christ consciousness, to the God in you. And that's right. And that's why the music has been used to dumb down the masses, the food, the water full of fluoride, all of these things to lower the frequency. 7-day vegan challenge. You can eat to live, raising the frequency. And once you tune into who you really are, you start to uncover and unearth the secrets that you are amazing, powerful, a luminous being, a spiritual being having a human experience. You see, the Anunnaki story is so important because if you don't understand the past, you can never understand the present. Slow motion this side. You'll always be confused to say, oh my gosh, why is the world like this? Well, the reason why the world is like this is because for thousands of years, humanity has been controlled. The DNA has been tampered with. And this is the reason why I say we're living in a conveyor belt lifestyle. Wake up. You go to school where lies are told to you. You can only believe what they want you to believe. That's called conditioning, mind control programming, MK Ultra. Then you go to work. And you're supposed to work, then you have a family, then you die. We live this conveyor belt lifestyle. And if you don't question it, you'll always be a slave. We didn't just come here to do this, to be under someone else's jurisdiction and authority. We came here to be free. We came here to vibrate in love and harmony. And when you do that, you now exit the matrix. You now exit the matrix and you now realize that, oh my gosh, it's all a setup. It's all a trap. And that's why the Anunnaki story is so important. Remind yourself, there are things that you know you know. There are things that you know. There are things that you don't know. And there are things that you don't know. Oh, I like that. So wake up. Yes, we are being controlled by the past, by entities who have come down and interfered with humanity for eons. It's still happening right now. Royal families, it's the bloodlines. They're connected to the gods. And when you realize that you are a god, you are a goddess, ladies, and when you connect back to who you really are, you become a supreme being, and then just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? Hey. Being free is your birthright. Don't be a slave today. Check out the book, Deep Divers, Feel Alive by Ralph Smart on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/the-book for more powerful, inspirational messages that will help you become your greatest version. Also, check out the clothes, the Good Ass Prana shirts at ralphsmart.com/clothes. Remind yourself every single day, everything they have taught you is up for questioning. You must question it, because there's a reason why they want to dumb down the whole population, so you don't ask these questions, because so much has happened that you don't know about, and it's got everything to do with why the world is how it is today, because there are other forces at work. I call them the inorganic ones. And when you dive deeper, you realize that it's always been about that. The whole world is a plantation. You better get out from the sunken place. And that's how you free yourself from the Anunnaki's grip and now become an infinite being. And then just say, I love you. Let love guide you, not fear, deep divers. Let love guide you, not fear. I love all of you deep divers. Let me just say, peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy, peace. You. Leave a comment down below, deep divers, of love and appreciation. You want me to go live on this topic? Just say, go live, Ralph. One love, peace.